Hello everybody, welcome to Meiji Shrine. You can see right there, that's the torii gate that was vandalized, and in front of it, it's just shocking to see, because I guess it's been a while since I've been here, to see the signs that are universally understood. You don't need to write them in any other language. No eating, no dogs, no running, no bicycles, no litter. Don't sit and loiter anywhere, no smoking. They're probably going to add a couple of more in there. It looks like they've run out of space on that board. But the vandalism that occurred about a week ago by an American tourist who's 65 years old and certainly knows better has had repercussions here. And after a week, we can see some of the fallout and the increased security and a lot of other stuff going on here. But for some of you, you might not know the story, so I want to show you what is the effect when vandalism happens, when something like this happens. How does Japan react? It's usually pretty swift and pretty steep, and it cracks down on everybody, and it sort of can ruin the experience. And it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but let's look at the story here. So about 6 days ago, we had an American tourist who was arrested over defacing Meiji Shrine's torii gate here. This comes from the Japan Times. It's in the crime and legal section, and you can see you see on the right and the left side of the torii gate, there was no fence around it. Tokyo police arrested a 65-year-old American man Wednesday on suspicion of property damage after he allegedly carved letters into the wooden pillar of a torii gate at Meiji Shrine in Tokyo's Shibuya Ward. The suspect, identified as Steve Lee Hayes, 3 names, that's not a good sign, whose address and occupation are unknown, has admitted to the allegations. He reportedly admitted that he wrote his family's names on them. The arrest stems from an incident that occurred around 11:15 a.m. on Tuesday, a week ago, when Hayes allegedly used his fingernails to etch 5 letters into one of the shrine's wooden torii gates. According to the Police International Crime Division, Hayes arrived in Japan on Monday for a sightseeing trip with his family. Security footage from around the Meiji Shrine area led investigators to identify him as the suspect. He was detained at a Tokyo hotel in the afternoon of Wednesday. Authorities believe the incident was intended to be an act of mischief, and I would assume so if you're putting your fingernails in there. That's not easy to do. In a related development, police are also investigating other etchings resembling kanji that were carved into the pillars of another of the shrine's torii gates. So he might be implicated in other ones, because it seems like his motive, right, to be able to take his fingernail. I want to see this guy's fingernails and etch things into really old wooden. Now this isn't a super old wooden pillar. I believe that this dates back to like 70 years ago or so, because I'm sure in World War II there was some. They probably didn't. I really don't know about it, but it seems like it's a fairly new pillar. It's not something that's hundreds and hundreds of years old. But anyways, it's still. These torii gates are the gateway from the normal world to the spiritual world. By going through there, you're really entering another world, and they're very significant in Japanese Shinto religion. And it's I mean, you wouldn't go to a European country and vandalize a church, but the thing with Japanese the Shinto religion and the Buddhist religion in general, it's really strongly connected to nature, and a lot of these places are just outside. They're not well supervised. There's a security guard to the right, you see underneath the tree there. So there's a guard now that's kind of watching stuff. He's on the right side of the screen. He's got his eyes, he's looking at everybody here, just making sure that vandalism doesn't occur. But instantly, as I showed you in the opening photo of this torii gate, there was no fence around it, and now you have 2 fences, wooden fences around it to protect the torii gate. And this is just, I mean, I don't know, it feels really sad and tragic that tourists who are visiting now can't really appreciate the torii gate in the same way. The pictures are all going to have these gates in here, and I don't think it's very attractive at all. I guess you could just take an image pointing up here. But look, there's even a sign here. Let's see what it says. Wow. Wow. Heartless deeds of damaging the torii gate with scratches have occurred recently. It is truly regrettable that we have to enclose the torii gates by a fence to protect them. Security cameras in use. That is, to me, this is a heartbreaking statement, because it's not something that they wanted to do, I'm sure. But it's interesting that this sign exists, and it's just a warning to all the tourists. If we walk around it, you can see that again on both sides so that there's so tourists can completely understand it. And I believe it was this one here. But I mean, now they have security cameras, but it's really hard. It's really hard to police all of this stuff. If you look inside the shrine and you want to stay to the left and the right and not walk down the center, you can see it's just a massive property. It's so big in the center of Tokyo, right? Okay, I've got a Google map. Let me show you exactly where we are in the city. This will put things into perspective. Tokyo is a relatively urban, it's an urban city. There's not a lot of green, but there is green, and Meiji Shrine is one of the and Yoyogi Park connecting up with it is one of the big green spaces in Tokyo. And you can't really police all of this. It's really large. This is the intersection near Harajuku, which is one of the big tourist draws here. And you can see that green section above your screen. That's all part of Meiji Shrine and Yoyogi Park a little bit further on here. But this intersection, highly trafficked by tourists. And you go once you get under the canopy of trees, you're entering into the Meiji Shrine grounds, and you really shouldn't be, touching anything. Stay on the path and show your respects and prayers. And you can see there's the Meiji Jingu Ichi no Tori. I'm not sure exactly all of the history on it. I just know it's quite large and it's made of wood. But that's where it is. Now, there's been so much other vandalism that has occurred here. This was a couple of years ago by a Canadian in Nara who sketched his name into the wood of a 1,200-year-old temple in Nara. And I believe he was also questioned for other sketchings. It seems like these people are just love to do it. It's like, and here's one in Okayama a few years ago where the priest is out there showing where there was some vandalism to the ground. Little subtle things. You don't want to, I mean, you think you're leaving your name in there forever. It just causes a lot of problems here. Like a Chinese tourist who vandalized Yasukuni Shrine, which made international news. He wrote toilet on there as a way to protest something or other. I mean, I think it was a release of water from Fukushima, which was deemed safe by a lot of institutions, just something that they had to do. And he didn't like it. And he's from China, which is a country that has a lot of pollution going into the water that's probably a lot worse. So I don't know, we couldn't figure it out. But you can't go in here and deface one of the shrines and temples. This is very big stuff here. It really made big news. Workers were cleaning the graffiti off of Yasukuni Shrine with spray paint with the word toilet. It's just heartbreaking to have to see that kind of stuff. I think this is some of the stuff that was on the Tori Gate here. You can see it's been cleaned pretty good, but that's what was remaining, I think. This isn't the first time that the Tori Gate has been vandalized as well. So now I guess we're starting to see reactions to this. The headlines, I think Soda News had set at rest. American jackass tourist arrested for carving name into gate at Tokyo's Meiji Shrine. That's pretty much to the point there. And he is. I don't think you can plead. I don't think there's anything that you could say that would get you out of trouble. But here's the larger question now, as I kind of show you the gate and I guess it was on this side right here in the front. Yeah, you can kind of see it's been defaced. Wow. You can see it really has been scratched and defaced, and it's like, why would anybody touch it, first of all, and why would you scratch it? I don't know how they fixed this damage, but it's certainly significant and heartbreaking for me. There you go. Why would I just don't understand why anybody would travel all this way and then vandalize something that's like that country's treasure. Look, here's the bigger issue now. I think that Japan has been extremely lax with how it treats tourists, internationals that commit crimes in Japan, where Japanese residents, including myself, and citizens would certainly have, citizens of Japan would certainly have really strict penalties. I don't think that there's any way that, and again, there's a police station right there. First of all, how'd you get away with that? Right? There's actually a police station because this is quite a significant shrine. I think the penalties have been way too lax, and I think it's time now that you really do detain up to 23 days people who commit crimes like this. So I'm sure that this guy's going to get detained for this, and I mean, you get deported, you can't return to Japan. I think these are like no-brainer stuff. Right now, we've got an IRL streamer in Korea. You know his name. I hate to say it. I think we should use his real name instead of his streaming name. He's known as Johnny Somali, but his real name, what is it? I can't remember, but I think we should start using his real name. But he's been arrested in Korea, and he's already said online that he's going to try to come back to Japan, and he intends to commit crimes. And he admitted in a stream that now people in Korea are publishing this stuff. It's like, I don't think how the heck is he going to get back into how's he going to get back into Japan? I'm pretty sure he was deported, which is 7 years of not being able to return here. But should he step foot here, I think he should be arrested and then really go to jail, like with some serious crimes. I hate his real name, writes in Yoda Jedi 01. You can see steam out of my mouth. They need to set some real fines. I think he was fined $3,000. That's nothing. They let him off, or he spent 3 months in prison and in a jail. Detained would be the better word. And then he was released, and he says some easy, some sympathetic stuff that, oh, I'm sorry, and then he leaves and he takes it all back. And this is the way he operates, right? And Korea should take this in consideration and lock him up for good. And I think that the other prisoners in Korea would love to have a talk with him. But you really need to make examples out of people. And Japan has not been making examples out of people. And this just shows that if you come from a Western country and you see the way that if you commit a crime here and you're treated with kid gloves, so to speak, I really don't think that really has any. It's just almost encouraging people to come here and commit crimes to see what you can get away with. You have to kind of understand the Western way of thinking. It's not pretty, especially for the Japanese, because like nobody would ever deface this. And you don't even. Most of the temples and shrines around the country have no security whatsoever, and nothing ever happens out there. But we're starting to see over the last couple of years vandalism just pop up. And a lot of these temples and shrines, now Meiji Shrine is a very significant shrine. They have a lot of money coming in. A lot of people support the shrine, so they can afford security cameras and they can afford police and other things. Most of the places cannot. They're out in the woods, especially in Kyoto. There's just too many of them. So what do they do? Get cameras? Do they have to get closed caption CCTVs and security guards and hire people to protect their assets from tourists? What they really need to do is to start to make serious examples of this American guy, and there's no more leniency. There has to be this has to be like a breaking point, because you can keep on doing the same thing over and over again. You get with the same results. It makes you an idiot. And I know that Japan is going to learn from this, and they're very strong and reactive, but they've been extremely weak with handling tourists. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know your thoughts below. I asked our friend, the AI bot ChatGPT, how often international tourists are actually fined or detained in Japan, and they wrote very rarely. You can see the back and forth, or basically the fourth that came. Most of the stuff that happens are minor incidences. Drugs is a zero tolerance policy, but tourists seem to get off a little bit too light. They should get jail time. Singapore puts people to death if you have a certain amount. Public behavior, disorderly conduct, public intoxication, although I think Japanese get in trouble for that too, but it's usually quite lenient. It's too lenient, I think. You should never get a warning. They should fine. Visa violations, overstaying a visa, or working without a permit. I think that should be quite strict as well. More serious crimes, theft, assault, criminal acts, anything with violence is quite serious. Smuggling prohibited items, they usually take that quite seriously too. If you're detained, you can be detained up to 23 days without any formal charges, which is a quite significant amount of time. That's over 3 weeks. And they just question you over and over and over again. Detainees should face language barriers. There's a lot of issues with regards to this. It is not an easy thing. If you are ever detained, it is not a good situation for you. You're going to have a rough 23 days. Conviction rates are very high, meaning if you are convicted, if you are brought to trial, there's a good chance that you're going to be facing jail time. With statistics specific to tourists, there's not a lot of data on this yet. I think people are going to start to compile this kind of stuff. But the tips are to be aware. There's very strict drug laws, very strict rules in Japan. If you're a tourist here, you should try to understand some of these before you come here. And the combination of Japan's emphasis on rule following and the strong legal systems help maintain a low crime rate. But tourists must exercise caution and respect local laws to avoid deportation and other issues. But, and this is 100% true. And the issue, and I understand this, that a lot of tourists are coming here. Ramsey is not going anywhere because Legal Mindset is doing info on his crimes in Korean Kankoku. Well, thank you for that, and that actually makes me very happy to hear. I hate to hear about anybody going to jail or suffering, but in this case, I can make an exception. You can't keep on doing this and expecting to get away with it, and hopefully it's a significant amount of time this time where we don't have to hear from him ever again. I never have to mention his name again. Ramsey is the name, that's right. AZN Dragon 456, thank you. Legal Mindset's doing a pretty good job of covering this. So much so, it seems like the channel, I've been watching too, the channel seems to be set pretty much on JS right now, on Ramsey. Just like, I'm laughing at him, not for him. It's a privilege to travel. This is a great comment. Palm Top Tiger Red Center, it's a privilege to travel, not a right. Many folks forget that. When you get on a plane and you come to a place like Tokyo, this is not a resort. This is a city with people like me and citizens that are working. I use the city as a place that I have to film for my job, I know, but it's not a playground. And that's why I hate the Mario Karts. I don't like the image that it shows that the city streets are a playground, especially if they're in costume. I think you got to get rid of the costumes. I think you have to consider that industry before an accident happens, because it's like just a matter of time. We've seen so many close calls already. Japan usually reacts after an incident occurs though. And this occurred, and we're seeing a reaction. The fence, the increased security. Tourists are still pouring in here. We're increased signage. It's really not pretty. It's a peaceful place to come, Meiji Shrine. I love walking here. I often would walk from Shibuya, and I cut straight through here. If you go straight all the way to the other side, you get to Yoyogi Station, which is just about 300 to 500 meters away from Shinjuku Station. It's a really great walk instead of taking the subway train. But I could see a time where they just close this and start charging for admission, because they might as well make money off of all the people that want to visit the shrine, because they gotta add in all this protection. Look at all these signs. They got so many of them now. They're covering up the smoking sign because I guess they have the least amount of incidences with this. But it's not a place for you to sit. It's a place to walk. If you want to sit, that's what the cafe over there is for. When you get your energy, or you're fully caffeinated, then you can go into the shrine and take a tour and bring some 5 yen coins and pray for good behavior of tourists here. It's quite a large shrine. I kind of like this map here. So we're here on one end. There's Harajuku Station. You can walk straight through without any traffic lights, and you end up pretty much at Yoyogi Station, which the next stop is Shinjuku. So it's a great walk to do. It's a peaceful one, and it's so quiet, and especially when you get past here, which is where everybody goes into the main shrine. If you just keep walking straight, this area, most people come in through Harajuku. It's almost deserted on this side, the Kitasando side. So I would recommend doing that for sure. Are there any last questions before I end this live stream? I think it's important for you to understand when this vandalism occurs, take pictures of it, report it to the police, let people know, let locals know, let security know what has happened, and hopefully we can prevent it before it occurs. But it's happening so often, and you can see there's just so many tourists here. Somebody's got to see somebody doing something, and it's up to us to I hate to say it, but if this keeps on going on, there's going to be even more preventative measures, because Japan is a country that's so old, that has so much history, and they're going to do everything they can to protect it. But the repercussions and the fallout from each time an incident happens is a more inconvenienced experience for all of us, and makes it tougher for me as somebody who lives here too. And I'm getting that all the time, and it's just not, it's not fun, and it's not fair. J Jersey, it's not fair to you, it's not fair to me. Jail time, public shaming, high fines, and banning from eateries, entering Japan again. People doing this make me so mad. I was infuriated when I saw that, first of all, he was 65 and not like a college student. It's like, oh my God. Like, what? Well, the only thing he could have done that was stupider was film himself doing it, right? But I certainly hope that he gets jail time. He's probably not. They're probably going to fine him. But I think it's time that we can seriously consider, like jail time or detention centers for bad. They need to build a tourist detention center. I want to go there, and I want to make an episode about this I'm just thinking here. Not jail time, but a tourist detention center where you must stay for 2 weeks before you're deported and learn about Japanese customs, culture, and history, and then and if you're a social media influencer, you must make a video apologizing and telling everybody what you learned in your confinement in prison here. I'm just putting out some ideas here. John-san, you should check with Andrew Esquire in Legal Mindset to do an interview one day to talk about the nuisance streamers ruining everyday life and causing punishment from Japan and Korea. Maybe I will. I think I don't want to get too much into this because people are watching for positive news. They're watching because they want to see something beautiful. That, especially during the political era, like we're all kind of decompressing from that election that just happened in the United States, so we don't want to talk too much about this stuff. But everything that impacts your trip here, or whether it's positive or negative, you need to know about this and how it impacts it. In Japan, it's almost like predictable with what they're going to do here, right? But obviously, I mean, I wouldn't mind talking with Andrew and discussing what happened actually in Japan. Why did he get such a lenient punishment? Because the police, I've already talked with the police in many episodes, and I've been here for 26 years, and I've done media jobs with the police department's PR department. They do have one. They don't really do a lot of public relation kind of stuff. I kind of asked a lot of questions when I did do that job. This was before YouTube. And the one thing I learned was that police officers can be filmed here. So that's one thing that you should understand. They're public landmarks, so to speak. So you can film them, but the people that you can't focus in on anybody. There's certain laws with regards to filming, but when it came down to explaining the law in certain cases and situations, the police will never say anything. And this is a really good thing. There's not like leaks. You don't get like this kind of information leak to the press and the media for one reason or the other. And that's kind of a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, especially if you're like on death row. They're so tight-lipped that when an execution does happen in Japan, and they still hang people, that's the method of execution, hanging, you don't realize, they don't announce the date of it. I think it happens within a very short amount of time, where the inmate is told that your sentence will be carried out like today. They get a meal and that's it. And then the media learns about it after it's done, which is such an opposite way from the way that the U.S. does it. And it solves a lot of problems, but it also might create some. I don't know. Well, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about it. But in general, Ramsey got released he was too lenient in Japan, and they bought his BS, so to speak, his crap, and let him off. I'm sure they just wanted to get rid of him. And bottom line here, sounds horrible for wrongly convicted people. I don't know how many people are actually wrongly convicted in Japan. As you saw with Ramsey, they investigated him for quite a significant amount of time before even detaining him. And I think that's a beautiful tree right there. And I think that shows the thoroughness of the investigators. And I think he's getting that same treatment in Korea. They're really doing a good job putting the case together. And he's going to be doing some serious time. I don't know how he gets out of this one, but, you know, as I said, the bottom line is Japan has to start to think about this more seriously, because we can't have vandalism of historical monuments and then do very little, or hand out lenient punishments. My suggestion, again, create a tourist detention center in Osaka and Tokyo where they are sent there for to be detained for those 23 days while they're investigated, and they have a translator, and they have a certain amount of comfort, perhaps. That's not so bad. I mean, there's still guests here, but they have to learn something from this experience and be shamed in a certain way. The public shaming is very powerful. I don't know how much in the world, but in Japan it's very, very powerful. What do you guys think should be a punishment for this guy? I am curious. I want to end this live stream in a couple of minutes. The conviction rate in Japan is high because they don't actually detain anybody unless they have a pretty strong case. They investigate, and once they have a strong case, they give it to prosecutors who make the arrest. The one thing I learned from legal mindset is using the word conviction, using certain words can be misleading. So keep in mind when you're watching other YouTubers about this kind of legal stuff, whether or not they're a legal scholar or not, this is quite important. But what works in Japan and what works outside in the Western world, public shaming doesn't seem to work outside this country or outside Asian countries. But in Asian countries, public shaming is worse than death. It can be. It's quite bad. Let him eat natto 3 times a day, and I actually like natto, and that would not be a punishment. He would leave healthier, and I think it'd be better off if you gave him like carbohydrates and fat and foods that might give him, like, you want to give him natto, really? He's going to end up liking this stuff. JR, that's a funny one. I guess just deport the guy. Yeah. I think you got to fine him, right? You definitely has to be a significant fine. I think $10,000 seems to be a significant amount of money. It should be about 3 times of what you would have paid for your holiday. I think that that's a significant amount of money. And if you can't pay, I guess you got to serve some time. 30 days. 30 days or $10,000. I think that that's fair. It seems to 3 times of what you paid for your vacation to come here. And it seems like $3,000 seems to be an average price or so for a vacation to Japan. Let's go 3 times that. Right? Just a note here, they have a sign. Meiji Shrine does actually close, so, and it's quite early. There's a sign over there. Let me bring that over to you. Bring you over to that. Oh, perfume. Ugh. My mouth open for that one. I'm not gonna say something stupid like tourists should be banned for wearing perfume. That's not a crime, although it should be. Too much. I don't know. For stinking, it's okay. You can see the open time is quite early. Get here early, and the close time is quite early too. As long as you get in, I believe, you can get out on the other side. So if you did come here at 4 and it takes you beyond 4:10, they'll hurry you up, but you can get to the other side okay. So they're not going to lock you in there. And don't try to hide in there either, because that is a massive crime. You will definitely be arrested for that. And no drones anywhere in Tokyo without a permit. And you get permits by applying online. No dangerous goods. There's just so many signs here. What's worse, perfume or perfume and BO? I think either, both. I think after 20 some years of living here, my nose is quite sensitive, and you know, the smell of soap is pleasant, but when you have scents and clothes and people wearing this strong stuff, my wife says it, if I wear underarm deodorant and it like Old Spice and I get really strong one, she's very sensitive to that. So I think that you really have to maybe leave your cologne at home. And I tell that to some of my other friends. If I'm going to be in the car with them, I'd rather have the BO than the perfume. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd rather have light BO than perfume. What do you guys think of that? Is perfume called BO? They should make a perfume called BO. It won't be politics, but at that time, Johnson, no one knew why he was off lenient punishment, because this was everybody's first time a nuisance streamer would go. That's not exactly true. We had a guy named Jake Paul who was here, who made a lot of nuisance, and they should have learned from that case. And this predates what these IRL streamers are doing by like 5 or 6 years, right? And that was a pretty good case. And I believe he was deported, so he can't come back here for 7 years. I believe. Too many people use the BO perfume, especially in the summer. But I'd rather have light BO. So my list would be of acceptable normal smell, soap smell would be first, normal smell, detergent smell of clothing, it's acceptable. Then we get into light BO, which is okay, it can't be helped. Then you have light perfume and BO. And then you have strong BO. And then you have perfume. Oh, so strong BO is better than perfume. Then you have very strong BO, the kind that if you touch somebody, you don't get it off, like it's grown on there. And then you have strong perfume and very strong BO. And then you have, I don't know, chemical warfare? I don't know. A Logan Paul, sorry. I don't know, one of the Paul brothers. I apologize, I stand corrected. It was Logan Paul who was here, but he was just a child, I think. He was very young. I like to think that he had learned his lesson. I don't know, I don't watch his stuff. I always give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's one of my weaknesses. Because I would hope that you guys would give me the benefit of the doubt should I get in trouble, but there's nothing in me that's remotely evil, except I'm sure we all kind of have times where we get quite frustrated. I can get frustrated. I see our good friend Kevin Riley's in the house. I missed that, Kevin. It's nice to see him. I'd come down and visit, but he's quite busy right now in Osaka, giving tours. The two brothers are interchangeable in their... Wow, yes, I would believe that, yeah. All right, there you go. Here's Harajuku. Thanks for braving my scent rave. Irvin is in the house. How you doing? Just a note here, if you guys are watching, the postcards went out. This month's the beautiful scene. I took this many years ago at Kiyomizudera during the autumn. It's probably a lot more crowded than it is right now, but these went out 2 days ago, so they're on the way. IRL streaming means in real life. J Jersey Girl, shaving your underarms cuts the smell of BO. That's good. That's good information. I think baking soda does. The Arm & Hammer, it's pretty good. I still use the, why are we talking about the original without antiperspirant, just the deodorant? But to be honest with you, if you eat well, you don't really smell that bad. Like my Kanai doesn't wear deodorant, she smells pretty good. Like how do they do that? You don't want to put the chemicals, try to not put any chemicals on there. Harajuku has really changed. Wow. I guess there's an IKEA here. This is the new Harajuku station. And I guess they're supposed to be making, I'm really curious, let's go inside. I think they're supposed to be making the, rebuilding the old Harajuku station on this spot as well. And let's see if there's any progress on it. They should be close to finish, shouldn't they? It's been a few years. I do miss the old train station, and that's part of me, and the other part of me does not miss the new old train station. It was so tight and so crowded, and with the tourism boom, I can't imagine that it would be really bad. It doesn't look like they've done any work on it, does it? They're doing something here. But it doesn't look like that they've done any work on rebuilding the old station front. That's kind of sad to see. I thought they would have. I thought that they would have done more. Yeah. Old 1912 Harajuku station was. It could no longer accommodate the millions that went through there. Trevor writes in here, quick vending machine run for a drink. Oh, Trevor, all right, we're gonna have to do that at another time. Well, I don't think there's any vending machines around here. There used to be, there's a convenience store up there, but I don't want to go in there and film. I'll tell you what, I gotta head back right now, but I'll take you across the street and then show you Takeshita Dori just as a way to say thank you. So we'll extend the stream. Maybe we'll find a vending machine. I really do have to get back. I got some editing to do. This construction's been ongoing for too long. They gotta finish it up. I wonder how much these apartments are. It's gotta be expensive. Looks like something that you get on like Aspen or something. Real high price resort. There's an IKEA, or IKEA as we say, across the street, and a Uniqlo. It's interesting. If there was a Costco in town, my gosh, that would destroy me. Imagine if they had like a Costco and they just had like the top 100 items that they sold. Oh my goodness. That's so cheap because it's usually like $1, but like you could eat lunch at IKEA, get a cinnamon roll and a coffee for $2 that would be $1.50 for both of those. That's crazy. Oh, somebody broke wind. Ugh. I think it was that guy up there. Oh my God, air biscuit. Ugh. Oh, that was worse than Leo. Oh, air biscuit. I'm gonna get ahead of him. Try to get ahead of that group. Ah. What did he eat? I don't want to know. Ugh. So much talk of odors. So glad YouTube doesn't transmit smells. I don't know how we got into this, but sometimes you have to lean in. Allbirds. I got a chance to work with them in the beginning of this year. Good people over there. They gave me a pair of shoes, which I could dye using the old Japanese indigo dyeing methods. Look what you did, Trevor. You got me diverted into an air biscuit. I'm just kidding. It's actually nice to come over here and get a chance to see how things have changed a little bit. I almost never come in this direction. Why is it called an air biscuit? I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I don't know. It's a good question. Hey, look, you can get on TV. All right, let's do that.
Oh, where about?
Where's that dude? Am I on TV? It's a congregation of people. People love to see themselves. I don't know. Oh, there I am. Oh, perfume. Let's get a group of perfumed people. It's like a battle between different scents. Let's not talk about odors anymore. It's hard to avoid it. I don't like hang out in these touristy spots much, but now we're famous. It's funny. That's a long screen. I'd love to have that wide monitor for video editing. Trevor, it wasn't me. And Trevor's gonna go, whoever smelt it, dealt it. I did not deal anything. I probably wasn't the first one to smell it, so let's just go like that. Somebody else just reported on it. Oh gosh, Trevor doesn't believe me. Just a little bit of personal history. 26 years ago, when I came, 25 years ago, this used to be a Docomo shop, not a Family Mart, and this is where I got my first phone. It was a color NEC flip phone, the 502i or something. Hello. And it was inside that shop I got it. It was like 50,000 yen, which was quite expensive at the time for the first color flip phone. And now it's kind of funny to see it as a Family Mart. All right, everybody, that's all I got for you today. We've moved from air biscuits and perfume to vandalism and all the stuff that's happened over there at Meiji Shrine. Again, like, just don't be this person. If you see it happening, report it to the authorities, take pictures. Every time that this happens, it kind of destroys it for everybody else, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen at all. Have a good day, everybody. It wasn't me. It was that guy. He's down there somewhere now. Lost him. Look at the arrow pointing right at him. It's that guy. All right, everybody, have a good day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another live stream. Maybe tomorrow as I bring you to another area of Tokyo or discuss a topic that's going to impact our world, at least here in Japan. Mata ne.